まあいざとなったらお前も働けや。
なんてうちだ。なんて不節操な家庭なんだ。俺はグレてやるぞ。誰もいるか。
So he runs away from home, but he forgot his shoes. Carefully puts them on. It's the anguish scream, the fact that he has to repeat it. So sad. Yeah, right, dude. Anyway, Urasato was really good at doing all kinds of stuff, including parodies. This is one of my favorite parodies they did. See if you recognize any of these characters.
うちの体はダーリンのものだっちゃ。
Yeah, so 20 years before it became an internet meme, they were already doing "It's a Trap." That episode was from 1983 when Return of the Jedi came out. So yeah, a lot of good comedy in the early 80s. One of my favorite creators of the early 80s though is a guy named Yoshikazu Yasuhiko. He's an artist who did a lot of character designs and stuff and created a couple of really good anime on his own. This is a bit from one that he worked on called Crusher Joe.
John, I just made a big mistake. Engage.
You'll pay for that.
We're hit. Water tank.
Get rid of it!
Joe, we can't take another hit.
Hang in there, girl. Bastards. Hang on!
Hell.
Okay, they got a little assistance at the end there, but I love the fact that it's one small ship tearing apart an entire fleet. That's good stuff. That's Crusher Joe. And here's a bit of another show that Yoshikazu Yasuhiko worked on called Giant Gorg. I just love this thing that they do at the end of every episode. Every episode has a cliffhanger. This is how they do it.
えらく手間を取らせてこんな野暮なものは使わずに済ませたとしたら仕方がない。これであの世に行ってもらう。
そんな僕たちは何を
かわいそうだがドクター・ウェイブ、あんたはオーストラル島について知りすぎて悪く思うな。
And this is something that the artist created single-handedly. This is a bit of a film called Arion.
まだまだ子供だ。すっかりポセイドンに丸め込まれおって。いいか、あいつはな。黙れ！父さんの悪口を言うな。あなたもオリンポスと同じく僕と父さんの敵だ。よせ。わしを殺しても無駄だ。どうにもなりませんぞ。冥府でこれに鍛えられた恩を忘れてたまき呪われるがいい。死にさえも救われぬ苦しみの中を一人でどこまでものたうっていくがいい。
Pretty brutal stuff, huh? It's a cool movie. It's totally larger than life. And Yoshikazu Yasuhiko made one other film called The Venus Wars. But I don't think we're going to have time for this one. Now, I don't know if any of you have seen a show called Hayate the Combat Butler. I've seen a little bit of it. There's one episode of it where one of the characters goes off on this rant about how the opening to this certain anime is the most epic opening ever and it can never be matched. This is the opening he was talking about. Let's see if you agree.
星が輝く影で我の子は愛のくだます星から星に殴るこの波が通って打ち落とします銀河旋風ドライガーおよびとあらば即参上情けるよアステロイドベルトのアウトロも震え出すコスモレンジャージャーニック宇宙空間突っ走るさブライさんだブライさんだ10万光年星をきらめき飛び交うブライスター広がるプラズマブルーのマーク
So what do you think? Pretty epic? Pretty epic. I don't know if it's the most epic. This next show is another mecha thing. It's called Our Battler Dunbine. It showcases what I love about its creator, Yoshiyuki Tomino, his love of weird, idiosyncratic dialogue.
And if I still refused, you would be compelled to submit with force if need be.
Then I refuse!
Nice shot.
Ben, is that necessary?
Just what I would have expected from one extracted from the upper world.
Good people and courageous battlers. From time immemorial, Byston world has been a world of peace, but there have been growing disturbances these past 100 years. We must be grateful history has given us this period of reflection. You all know shock weapon of Upper Earth from the Valley of Silicon.
Creating technology like this out here?
You should be careful how you address me. I'm held in high regard here, you know.
And the other great thing about Tomino, he kills characters all the time. Episode 1, nope, they already lost a pilot.
Can you see Lord Drake is drunk on power?
What would you expect, lady? I kinda just got here.
Good stuff. And, but you know, what about magical girl stuff and shoujo stuff? Well, here's a signature one of the most popular magical girl shows of the 80s. This is called Miki Momo. Yes! this show took risks, man. I love it. And it's just like, oh no, it's not like, you know, that was just a big cliffhanger. No, they really killed her off at the end of the series. They have like the funeral and everything. She comes back to life because she's a magical girl. But you know, this was a show that took risks, man. It was good stuff. This is my favorite shoujo TV anime of the 80s. It's kind of a guilty pleasure because it's a really light comedy. It's called Tokimeki Tonight.
弟を出しに使って旬の気を引こうなんて見えついてるわ。許せない。それ待つ待つ。ねえ旬、お庭散歩しない？やっちゃった。お姉ちゃんごめんね。何よ、私に恨みでもあるの？
Yeah, the hook of the show is it's kind of, I guess I describe it as Twilight in reverse. The main character and her family, they're all like monsters with supernatural powers, and she's trying to, you know, woo the normal kid at school. It's good stuff. And this is a shoujo anime movie that came out in the early 80s. This is called The Door into Summer. This is what shoujo is like in the 80s. It's cool stuff. Yeah, this is a period piece about, you know, kids growing up, and it has the great teenage thing where everything that happens is the most important thing ever. It's the music and the atmosphere. It's a cool little film. Now here's a weird one. This is a movie about nuclear war called Future War 1980X. Of course it has Rush in the soundtrack. It's interesting. It's realistic warfare. It's the U.S. versus the Soviets. But I did a little thought experiment. Since this animation, it's Toei animation, they're going for realism, and it just reminded me of something else from the 80s. So I tried to match it up and see how it worked. There we go.
Save the day. He never gets up, he's always there.
purpose? To defend human freedom against Cobra, a ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world.
In every shop, he'll stay till the lights one G.I. Joe will dare. G.I. Joe! G.I. Joe!
It's kind of a different effect when not everyone has parachutes, right? Any of you guys ever hear of an animator named Yoshinori Kaneda?
Yeah.
He was like the man in terms of awesome detailed animation in the late 70s and early 80s. And he had one movie. The movie's totally incoherent, but it looks awesome. It's called Birth.
Hands up, you guys! Well, here's another secret weapon. Inorganic oil!
So it's Mario Party?
Yeah. What I love about this movie is that there's no static shots. There's always the foreground and the background is always in motion. Unfortunately, it doesn't have much of a story to speak of, but you put this on, you put some music on, you're all good. Good stuff, right? Look at that. That's what I love about 80s animation. Speaking of great 80s animation, this is one of the best ones in terms of quality. That Robotech thing we saw earlier, here's the movie version. So you know that's good. Yeah, this is the Max dogfight. This is the best action scene in the movie. Sequence is just right on the money. But my favorite 80s anime, one that just defines the decade for me and I can watch over and over again, is this thing. It's called Megazone 2-3 Part 1.
For a while, he's been there following us.
Yeah, the idea here is Shogo accidentally came into possession of that prototype motorbike, and the cops are after him, and it's Tokyo in the 80s, until it suddenly isn't, and this is the twist. They find a city under the city. I love this shot. It's so sci-fi. It's awesome. But yeah, that's the 80s, man. And we saw the Macross movie, but they made a Robotech movie too.
Never seen her? Mark, she's the biggest thing on television.
This is footage from Megazone 2-3 Part 1. And the crazy thing is, they made a new ending. Like, Megazone 2-3 had a very good, very distinct, very open ending. They kind of rearranged it, and they worked in a final showdown with the good guy and the bad guy that was not present in the original at all. The cool thing is, the director of this, Mr. Noboru Ishiguro, he was at Otakon a couple of years ago. When he saw this footage, he wasn't like, they ripped off my creation or they altered it. Why would they do that? His only thing was, I should have been paid for this. Like a man who directs anime, he's not going to look at it and think, oh, they're destroying my art. He's just going to be like, where's my check? What we're going to look at next is something that it's one of the Shonen Jump All-Stars, and it really just defined what it means to have an anime about powering up and fighting and turning your enemies into allies and defeating the bad guys. I am, of course, talking about Fist of the North Star. So you can see here that Zed is he's only about a foot taller than Kenshiro in this shot.
Zenda, put her down and let her go.
Yeah, sure, I'll put her down. Right after I break her neck.
Look at what he does with perspective here. Suddenly appears to be 100 feet tall.
First, just suffer, then you die. Nice and slow. You hear me? Cause when I fight, it's always to the death.
That's right. In fact, you're already dead.
Is that so?
The interior shot of the brain. Did not pull any punches, man. Fist of the North Star, it's such a legend and it's so ingrained in pop culture over the years. This is my favorite way it emerged in an unexpected place. I want you to watch this sequence from the movie and listen carefully to the song.
Kaya, I knew you may alone. Delegates on my way. Take you and I can sue you away.
I think you've been reincarnated. I think you've been reincarnated.
What was that?
They should have just given it to him. They should have let him win the whole thing just for doing that. So Fist of the North Star, yeah, that's one fighting anime that everyone remembers. The true fighting anime of the 80s, the one that had all the spirit and all the fire, well, that came a little after Fist of the North Star, and I'm obviously talking about this. condensation from the TV series. Look at this. This cosmos is totally gonna explode. It's awesome. But yeah, that's the awesome thing about Saint Seiya. I mean, when those guys fight, it really seemed like the world was about to explode. Okay, I guess there was one other anime about fighting. I don't care what people say about Dragon Ball Z. This was the good part. Right here. Yeah, that is the goddamn spirit of Kung Fu. The only fights I like better are the Jackie Chan ones, and I'm not going to show you those. You have to go watch one of those yourself. The 80s was also about really cool, weird OVAs that are hard to find now. This one's called Prefectural Earth Defense Force. They have a secret weapon, a very angry guy from India. Totally blows them off. Here's one of my favorite OVAs from the 80s. This is called Project Echo. Yeah, this has underpants shots in there. It was a thing. It kind of still is a thing, isn't it? But Eiko has superpowers. She's got super strength and stuff. She's the redhead. But she can't fly. She still gets up to the starship, but she does it in an interesting way. It's like Pilot, the girl is on the wing, you can't have a conversation with her. Look at this, this is awesome, this rules. Yeah, this was just recently remastered. You can get this on DVD too. It's cool stuff. But, okay, I got about 15 minutes left. I'm doing good. This is from an omnibus feature film called Neo Tokyo. This is called The Running Man. Did anyone see this on MTV back in the day? Liquid television? Yes, you did. Awesome.
blood pressure normal. Pulse and perspiration rate rising, but steady.
Brainwave activity stable.
The magazine I sometimes write for wanted a story on Zack Hugh, better known as the God of Death, the uncrowned king of arena racing. For nearly 10 years, he dominated the action at Le Circus. Few drivers survived more than a year or two on that fast track to hell. Zack Hugh had done more than survive. In fact, he seemed to thrive on defying the odds. Sooner or later, he outraced or outlived them all. He was the best anyone had ever seen. His fans called him the man who would not die.
Cool stuff. That's like Dale Earnhardt of the future. Yeah, that's Neo Tokyo. And, okay. I actually had to split this into 2 presentations, so if you'll bear with me for a second, got to do a real change. I have to go to the My Documents folder. That's where My Documents are. Okay, here's more. This is from another preeminent 80s TV anime. It's a comedy that occasionally has really good action. It's a gritty cop drama with like, you know, the kind of most ridiculous private detective ever. It's called City Hunter.
仕事は終わったんだし、お約束のもっこりちゃんを。これよ。まだ終わってないみたいね。そうな。こんなもっこり太ももちゃんばれにして。なんやろう。
Yeah, the Osaiba there, he's an ex-soldier and a really good shot. He's kind of got a one-track mind though. Cops got him. Who remembers Robot Carnival? This is another great movie where it's a bunch of small vignettes by different directors. They don't do a lot of movies like this anymore, which is too bad, but they just did one. Came out in Japan. This one ran on Sci-Fi Channel a few times. That's good stuff. Now, I talked about Gynax earlier. Gynax made one of my favorite movies of the 80s. This is called Royal Space Force. This is about an alternate humankind's first trip into space, complete with their own astronaut.
Minding your own business. Your altitude is 3,000. Speed is 200 rems per second, and the next zone where we can make contact with you is far over the horizon.
That's Spike Spiegel's voice.
Pressure abnormality in oxygen tank 1. Primary lines closed. Auxiliaries open. 3. Suspending nitrogen supply. Inertial systems reading abnormal acceleration. Setting general circuits to prescribed positions only. Internal pressure unchanged.
Good. Much better than last time. You've earned your paycheck, kid. Next crisis situation number 575.
My son, you must soon depart, for you stand within the marketplace. Ever after named the city of fire, each and every living man is damned. Know that this is you, as so it's foretold. A city in which no water, nor even the blood of man, could wash away the filth, or even the smoke-stained hands of death, created by fire to die by fire. Dearest son, please prepare thy soul.
Beautiful film, isn't it? Sentai Filmworks are about to re-release this. You should totally get it. And a funny Easter egg to look for, if you watch the dubbed version, the main character there, the astronaut Shiro, one of his buddies, his name is Monty. Monty's voice is provided by Bryan Cranston, Walter White from Breaking Bad, from before he was famous. Pretty cool. Now, what I'm going to show you next is, it's one of the signature anime of the 80s, and if you haven't seen it, I hope you have at least know of it. I'd like to ask this question, since there's such a varied group of people here. How many of you have not seen this? Raise your hand. Okay, so yeah, well, maybe a little less than half of the room. I hope you want to see it now. It's cool. Yeah, Funimation have the rights to it. They're going to be re-releasing it. So that's pretty great. Yeah, with the real dub. That was the real dub, by the way, the streamlined dub, the original. It's still the best. Speaking of Gainax. Gunbuster, it's about plucky young girls, saving the universe, but it is still just kind of unbelievably epic and amazing to watch. Very cool stuff. Now this is a film that probably not a lot of people remember, maybe for good reason. It's not a great film, but it's one of my favorites to watch because it's just so pretty and kind of interesting and weird. It's called 5 Star Stories.
Lex! Oh yeah!
The character designs are a little out there, aren't they?
この丘の上だったんだよね。ちゃんとしたリグに乗ってこなかったばっかりにこんなところに落ちちゃった。何回もテストに失敗してやっとここまで来たんだ。そのおかげでこの国の大統領にも会えたけどね。おい、そろそろ目を覚ましてくれないか。
Motorheads are robots. If I had to compare 5-star stories to Western science fiction, I'd say it's a little bit like Dune. The only problem with the movie is that it's only about 65 minutes long. It's from a very long-running manga. And at the end of the movie, you know, there's this big epic finale, and the narrator goes, and now the adventure can truly begin. And they never made any more. All right, I had to skip a few things. If you're asking where's Gundam, yeah, I skipped past Zeta Gundam, I'm sorry. I had the opening, but we've got 3 minutes left, and I've got 2 clips left. So I'm going to show you first, this is one of my favorite and most 80s of anime ever. It's a 1989 OVA called Tui. It's about musicians. This is another show that it's a great mood piece. It's just got really neat scenery, cool music. Love that opening. You gotta love a hero who the first thing he does is he punches someone out. And it's just like, hey guys, what's up? Okay, so what I'm gonna show you last is something we can all laugh at together because it's wonderful. This is an OVA from the creator of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, called Bow.
Laser cannon!
Typically a great deal of electricity.
There is! That source of power is contained within Bao!
You don't need no battery.
My great work of art. You are the perfect ultimate weapon.
I love that that's a death speech, and I've made a terrible mistake. So, it's 10:30. That's it, guys. The 80s are over. The Soviets lost the Cold War. Ivan Drago lost the rock and roll. It was a pretty good run for anime, so what do you think, guys? Should we do the 90s next year? You can follow me on Twitter, Michael Tool, Anime News Network, Topless Robot, Otakon USA, and I got one more panel tomorrow called